Just having my assistant give me my coffee. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Counter Culture Podcast. We are here today with
Kellen
from
Wild South.
How's it going, man?
It's good, dude. How are you?
Good, really good. This morning was stressful. I feel like the past 2 days in general have been a fucking shit show.
Dude, in true Wadapalooza fashion,
Yeah.
the rain. It started a little bit earlier this year. Obviously, last year it was cold, got a little bit of rain, but this year it has just been an absolute nightmare setting up.
Dude, we walked outside, and I'm like, I thought that Florida was supposed to be sunny and shit. Like, I thought Miami, whenever you see, like, videos or people talking about Miami, they're always like, it's so nice here, it's sunny, it's, like, perfect weather all year round. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? There's roosters that I'm waking up to. There's dump trucks making a ton of noise, and it's raining and overcast. And
I've come to the conclusion, it don't matter if you're going 1 mile or 15 miles, it takes 45 minutes to get anywhere in this city.
The traffic is fucking
it's unreal.
Terrible. It's so bad.
And the rain, this whole afternoon Florida shower.
Yeah.
Dude, it's an all-day type shower thing.
Yeah. Well, wait, you're from Virginia, right?
Virginia Beach.
Isn't it kind of like this, too, over there?
I mean, Virginia Beach is pretty much like anywhere to the south, like pretty much Virginia down to about Jacksonville, like North Florida. I mean, it gets cold in the winter, not real bad. It's probably about 40 degrees back home right now, but it's nothing terrible.
It's not like Wisconsin weather.
No, hell no.
We left the day after a snowstorm. Thank God.
Is that where y'all from, Wisconsin?
Yeah, we're from do you know Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're from 20 minutes out from Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Milwaukee for the most part. Yeah, city boy.
So y'all are sad to see the games move away from there.
Dude, yeah, it is a bummer because, so I didn't get into CrossFit until 3 years ago.
Right.
But having something that big in our state was just cool.
Yeah.
There's not really
and
much
the travel
else.
wasn't there.
Yeah,
you could just really hop in a car and go.
Yeah. We live 35, 40 minutes away, so it was an easy track.
Yeah.
And as you know, I worked with a brand that shall not be spoken of on the podcast right now. So yeah, it was I got paid to go and have fun and hang out.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, dude, give me a little bit of a backstory on you. What's your deal?
Yeah, man. So we're Wild South. We launched January 1st of 2021.
Yeah.
I was former law enforcement for 11 years, K-9 handler.
You were a cop?
I was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Nice. I loved it. And then started falling out of love with the job. Didn't really like what I did anymore. Just about 2-3 years ago, just a lot of politics and a lot of bullshit going on.
Was it the COVID-19?
It was that mixed with just some other stuff.
The BLM riots?
Dude, it was, yeah, man. And it was, all the guys we work with, we all got along. All that bullshit the media was feeding us, it was just all bullshit. But yet it just kept coming down on top of us. And it just got so heavy, dude. I was like, fuck this, man. I don't enjoy what I do anymore. Yeah.
Well, so what made you what made you become a cop in the first place? How'd you fall in love with it?
The goal was always go federal. I wanted DEA or U.S. Marshals, and then ended up just taking a different path, became a cop, and always wanted to be a canine handler.
Yeah, I see that on your Instagram.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it is hands down the best job that you can have. I mean, your dog's
you get a best friend.
Yeah, so you get a best friend, and it's a man-eating land shark.
What's that? So what's that like? Do you know how to train dogs like that?
Nah. So my grandfather, he used to train hunting dogs.
Okay.
So I would do a little bit way back in the day when I was a kid with him, and then grew up with dogs. But being in the tactical side of things with the dog, so my dog, he was dual purpose. So he was apprehension and explosives. So when we get them, they all come from overseas. So he came from the Netherlands. When we get them.
The dogs do?
All of our dogs come from overseas.
Wow, okay.
So, he came from the Netherlands, got him when he was about a year old. I didn't know anything that's any of the training that came for the canine side of things, so they put us through a 4-month school, and it's just you and the dog 8 hours a day training them up.
That's crazy. Was it tough?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was hot. It was tough. I went through February. I didn't end up getting out until I think it was September. Reason being, my first dog ended up going back to the vendor. He would bite the decoy, but then he would just pop off and frolic in the fields. And in this situation, you can't have that, man. You need your dog to stay in the fight the entire time.
He's just celebrating that he got the victory, he got the cook break.
Phenomenal tracker, but when it came time to fight and get down, he was just not having it. So that's something that sucks. You get a bond in, you're 2 months in with this dog, and hey, your dog's not going to work out. So then you leave, got to wait for another shipment to come in, find another dog, and hope this one works. My second dog ended up working out pretty well. What
was the interest in becoming a Fed?
I don't know. I think back in the day, it's like all like the cool stuff you see on TV with the feds, and now being on the inside of the cop and working with the feds, it's actually flipped. Like, if you want the adrenaline rushes, if you want the high-speed chases, the kicking in doors, going local law enforcement, it's going to be your way to go. The feds, they're pushing paper. They'll actually build the case against somebody, and then when it's time to go get that person, they're coming knocking on our door, giving us the paperwork saying, hey, we got this guy, he's wanted for X, X, and X, go get him.
Oh, so you don't actually get the action?
No.
So what was like one of the craziest things that you got to actually be a part of while being a cop?
Dude, there's so many. I mean, so we work with the U.S. Marshals a lot in our fugitive task force. So we're going after guys who have, fled their state, wanted for murder, robbery, rape, the kid diddlers out there, any of those guys. So
the worst of the worst?
So seeing a dog get some of those guys, that was really gratifying.
Did you tell them to go straight for the nuts? Can you tell them to do that?
So people don't know this, but a dog's going to grab what they want. So pretty much what you're offering at that time, whether it's the front and the back, we do train them to target large muscle groups because we don't want these dogs to tear somebody up. So we do target, thighs, arms, the back. But like I said, you got people hiding in closets. It's going to be whatever they can bite first.
Whatever's available, yeah. Have you seen that movie, what is it called? It's called like Runaways or something. I don't know. It's about dogs. It's a comedy that just came out. I didn't actually get to see it, but my buddy showed me like some clips of it and the premise of it. This guy gets a dog, and then it ruins his relationship with his girlfriend. So he kicks the dogs out. What's that called? The dog, a stray dog. He makes it a stray dog basically. And so he gangs up with a bunch of other dogs, and the whole premise of the movie is for the dogs to bite off the previous owner's dick. What? That's the entire movie. So he shows me the end of it, and they go to the house, and they're having this fight with this person. The house starts on fire. It's super dramatic, and he finally bites the dude's dick off.
So we have had, there was one instance, a guy got the tip of his dick bit off. I wasn't there for that one. It was another handler, but I was there before I went to K-9. We did get a call one time, and it was a woman who was in the military, and she comes home from deployment, and she lived with 2 roommates.
Okay.
She comes home and hears something. It was a 3-story townhouse. Hears something on the 3rd story. So she calls us. She's like, hey, someone's broken into my house, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so we get there, and a K-9 guy came with me. I was just a normal patrol at that time.
Yeah.
So we're talking to her. Are you sure nobody else should be here? She was like, no. She's like, my other 2 roommates, they're both military. They're both deployed. Are you positive? She's like, yes. All right, so we get the dogs. We got to do our due diligence before we go into someone's house with a dog, just because we don't know who's in there. People lie all the time, and we don't want to bite someone's innocent. So we're going with the dog. We're searching the 1st story on leash, find nothing. Go to the 2nd story, searching, find nothing.
Yeah.
Go to the 3rd story, and we're giving K-9 warnings just so people know, hey, we're outside the door, whatever. Nothing. The K-9 handler pops the door, and the dog goes in, immediately goes on the bed, and tags the dude right on his inner thigh.
Oh, God.
And he was in there fucking his girlfriend.
What?
Yes.
Oh, my
He
God.
sits up immediately. The handler's quick enough to get the dog off right away, and they're both just deer in headlights like, what the fuck is going on?
What?
Come to find out, that roommate got home early from deployment too. Well, her and the other girl didn't get along anymore, so they didn't talk.
Oh,
so their leases were ending in 3 months, communication not there. So we were covered because we asked all the questions. She's like, look, nobody should be here. So it was just a lack of communication. But
Dude.
2 people were right in the middle of it, and it was close on him being in the middle of the thigh. Yeah, man.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
So this dude got bit for no reason,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
no reason.
What the hell?
Yeah. But, I mean, it was a pitch dark room. Dog goes in, instantly smells that human odor, and it's a 6-foot lead. So he just immediately, and we see someone in there, so we're thinking, okay, someone's in here breaking in. Because people would hide in beds, under covers, in closets, behind mattresses, anything.
Yeah.
So, we don't know at that point in time. But like I said, as soon as he got bit, he was able to pull him off super quick.
That's kind of the. So I think that cops get too little credit for the work that they do. I grew up, I was kind of an asshole, right? I was a skateboarder, punk, doing all that shit. And I hated cops until I got older, a little bit wiser, a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing, oh my God, dude, their job. That's Colton Mertens, everybody. I was like, I realized that that job is so fucking difficult, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, and that's where people are just staring at us with these laser eyes at every single point of view.
Yeah.
And, now with the body cams, a lot of cops hated them. I loved them. It saved my ass more than anything.
I bet.
And 99% of cops, man, we're out there doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And they just don't get to see. Like, I always encourage people, dude, come do a ride-along. Like, come see this. And then the lack of information that we don't get from our dispatchers, like going to a call, we're getting whatever the person on the phone's calling in, and it's just such little information. That's what we're working with.
Yeah, and it's also like you guys like. It's easy to highlight the bullshit that happens, and hard to highlight like the good that does happen from it. Right. So like when they were talking about defunding the police. By the way, nothing on this podcast is off limits or anything.
Yeah.
So when they were talking about defunding the police, I was kind of like, are you guys fucking stupid? Like, you want to defund the police in the neighborhoods that, like, need the police the most?
And that's what we saw. So right when I left, we were a big city, about 850 officers fully staffed. So we had 19 K-9’s. And right when I was leaving, we were upwards of 200 stolen autos a month. And they wouldn't let us chase them anymore. So people get mad their cars getting stolen. We would see it, and the minute we light it up, if they take off, we had to terminate.
Yeah.
And recently I was talking to a buddy of mine, someone on city council recently had their car stolen. Well, if we see it, you ain't getting it back. Oh, now you want us to chase it. So city council just passed a thing. Now they're letting us pursue again because it's happening to them. It is now bled into their neighborhoods, these rich neighborhoods. Their cars are getting broken into. Houses are getting broken into. And I told you we were about 850 fully staffed.
Yep.
I think right now we're just under 500. And our K-9 units, I think about 8 or 9 dogs. So everyone's leaving. Yeah. And at that point, I wasn't worried about getting killed. I was worried about going to jail for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's like, dude, I got to get out of here, man.
Well, dude, in like places like Chicago and even Milwaukee a little bit, it's happening where you cannot arrest somebody if they haven't stolen over $1,000 worth of merchandise.
Yeah, dude, it's horrible.
We live in a clown world, dude.
Yes.
Like if somebody came to my gym, I'm fucking them up.
And I saw a lot of proactive cops stop being proactive.
Yeah.
Like we would go out there, beat the bushes. Like if I pulled you over, I was looking for dope or I was looking for guns. That was it. If you didn't have either of them, I'm letting you go. I didn't write a single traffic ticket in like my last 6 years working. It's like I was actually trying to find the good stuff, and now no one's doing that anymore.
So dope. What's dope?
Like crack, meth, just
not weed.
General, dude. Weed, I could care less about weed.
Yeah.
And and with all these new laws, like they just changed it. Now it would give me an end to get in the car.
Yeah.
Like if I smelled it, but the smell of it alone, you can't even search somebody's car or vehicle anymore for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't do that.
A lot of my cop friends, like I have some friends who are state patrol. Or I have a friend who is state patrol in Indiana. He's like, he used to, dabble.
Yeah.
And so he's like, if I smell weed in the car, I'm just gonna tell the person to throw it out the window. I'm not even writing them a ticket.
Yeah, most of the time I would take the weed and I would drive down the road and just throw it out the window. I wouldn't write them a ticket, but like I said, I would at least be able to get into the car, and that's when I would find the heroin and the fentanyl. Obviously, I mean that's a whole thing going on, people dying left and right. So getting the fentanyl off the streets, the heroin. So that was the main thing I was trying to get.
Was there a lot of that in
but
Virginia
dude,
Beach?
it was unreal. Once you start carrying Narcan, I mean these kids knew, hey, if I shoot up an IOD, cops are just gonna come, they're gonna Narcan me.
It's almost like incentivizing the kids.
It
to,
is,
like,
but
be
there's
able
a
to do
flip
it.
side to that. So now, because we're so short-staffed, we're not going to your call anymore. If you OD, we're not coming because we're too busy on a robbery. We're too busy on a murder. Like, we had a body laying in the street for 12 hours right before I left because there were just no cops available to go to it.
Jesus.
Yeah,
An
right in the
OD?
middle of the street. Huh?
An OD?
No, just a murder.
Is Virginia violent? Is there a lot of
Norfolk
violence
was, yeah. Norfolk, at one point, we were like the 5th worst. Now, granted, it's per capita.
Yeah.
But we have, I think like 250,000, 300,000 people.
Murders?
No, people. But we have, I think last year was our worst year in like 20 years. I think it was pushing 70 murders.
Wow.
For a town that small.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, it was bad.
Holy crap. Well, so then what? So how long? You said 10 years you were a cop?
Yeah, I did a little over 10.
What was the final straw for you? You're like, I just can't do this anymore.
So I got suspended for my last dog bite, and I was like, I did nothing wrong, and I was like, dude, like this is where it's like, now I'm out here doing my job, and I'm doing it in a safe manner, and when I get suspended for 40 hours, that's a whole week paycheck that I don't get.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm out. So that's when the wheels started turning about, I don't love what I do anymore, and I was like, what do I love doing?
Yeah.
And it was
what
also,
happened with the dog bite?
So it was a woman, she worked night shift, so she got off her shift, went to the grocery store, came home, it was like midnight, I think. So she's unloading her groceries, takes the first load in, leaves her front door open, goes back out, gets more, goes back in, and an estranged, it was either ex or husband, is now in there, and he's got a gun pointed at her face. He's like, I'm gonna fucking blow your head off, you crazy bitch, whatever.
Do you know why?
Right, so she hauls ass, runs down the street, goes to a neighbor's house, calls us. So we get there, his car's still outside. She comes back to the scene, we're talking to her. I was like, do you want to press charges? Absolutely. Is he known to be violent? She was like, yes, he is. Did you see the gun? She was like, yes, it was in my face, and he also had a holster on his hip. Okay, who else is in the house? She's like, nobody. I was like, all right, well, this time we got a barricade situation. I was like, no one else is inside, no one's in danger. Unfortunately, we got to call the SWAT team. Commanding officer comes out, I was like, SWAT team's busy, they're not coming. So he's like, take the dog, take a shield, go inside. Okay. So I was like, look, this is a deadly situation.
So you were told to do that?
Yes. So it's like, go inside, get this guy. So at this point, it's a hide and seek of a dude that's inside armed. Where's he at? So I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to be at the back of the train. We have about a 4-man stack. I was like, let's go in with the shield. We're going to clear this thing. Like, time's on our side. We'll be methodical about it. So we go in. Very small house, probably about 1,200 square feet. So I get 4 canine warnings at the door before we make entry. Police with a canine, come out now. I'm going to send the dog. You're going to get bit. They go in. They clear the living room, clear the kitchen. It's all right there. Don't see anything. All right, let's move down the hall. We've got like 2 bedrooms on the right, 1 bedroom on the left. Before we make entry down the hallway, give 4 more canine warnings. Police with a canine, come out now.
It sounds like too many warnings.
I'm going to send the dog, going to get bit. It's the CYA thing at this point, especially in the society we were living in. We try to cover all aspects of it. So 4 more warnings. They go down the hallway, clearing it. They get to the back bedroom. It's pitch dark. Get to the back bedroom. They shine a light in there, and there's a bed, and there's a guy laying on the bed and a perfect pencil on top of the covers. Like, very just like straight. Almost like his kid going off a diving board and a pencil in the water. That's what he was laying like. Nobody sleeps like that.
Yeah.
Dude was in there for probably about 10 minutes. So I know he's not sleeping. He's pretending to be asleep. I can see his right hip. I don't see the holster. I can't see his left. And she said it was on his left. So I'm like, all right, I can see this hand. I can see this hand, but I can't see this hip. So I'm like, all right, give 4 more canine warnings. Call the guy by name. Neighbor comes out afterwards. Hear the commotion. Warnings were so loud, the neighbor heard them next door.
Wow.
Okay? So, give warnings. The job's inherently dangerous. I was like, he knows we're here. So, that's already gone. So, I was like, all right. Told some guy, hey, look, you got lethal. I'm going to walk around until I can get a clear view of both hands and both hips. As soon as I broke the plane of the bed, I saw the holster was like bulged up under his shirt. So, I sent the dog. The dog hops up. He tags him right on the inner thigh, and the fight's on. Dude comes out of his fake sleep. It took my dog on his thigh, a guy my size, and another cop. About 30 seconds of fighting this dude. We get him in custody. No problems. Walk him out in handcuffs. Everything's good to go. So they go back, look at the body cam footage, all that, and they said, I bit a sleeping black man.
They said what?
I bit a sleeping black man.
What's that? Oh, you bit a sleeping black man.
Yes.
Oh my God! What the
Yes.
fuck? Seriously?
The guy that got bit, he didn't complain.
Yeah.
The woman who called the cops on him thanked us up and down.
Yeah.
So no cops got hurt. He got a few puncture wounds in his thigh.
Yeah.
Nothing major. He didn't go home. He's alive. He's safe. And everything's done. So it's like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
The dude's in there. He's got a gun. I tried calling the SWAT team. I gave 9 canine warnings by name.
Yeah.
It's like, at what point do you want me to do? I was like, okay, so let's flip the script. If I hadn't used my dog and I'd gone hands-on and he'd pulled a gun and killed one of us, now you'd be asking me, why didn't I use my dog? Right? So that's when I was like, okay, so I immediately grieved it. We have the chance to grieve it. Grieved it. The chief dropped it from 40 hours down to 8, like that. So that tells me right there, okay, I didn't do anything wrong if you're dropping it. He wouldn't drop the last 8 hours because he wouldn't swallow his pride. Which that chief got forced out about 6 months later. So he's now gone.
That sounds like a good thing, right?
Oh, yeah. But so, and it was still, and he told me face to face, he was like, if you take this grievance any further, I'm transferring you out of canine, your dogs get taken away, and I'm out. So I've been with my dog at 6 years at this point. So we're best friends. So I was like, dude, fuck this, man. Wheels started turning. I was like, I got something in the works. I'm going to grow the company for about 2 years, work my dog for 2 more years. By the way, it took them 2 years to do an investigation on this whole bite. 2 years. So they left me on the street working a dog for 2 years, even though it was such a violent individual.
Dude, you have a body cam, too.
Dude, it makes no sense. Oh, no, the body cam footage got lost. I'm going to tell you that.
Lost?
Lost. So we don't have access as an officer to delete it because people could get rid of stuff all the time. So my lieutenant saw it. My captain saw it. My sergeant saw it. Everybody saw it. But internal investigations didn't review it for like another 4 or 5 months. Somewhere it got lost.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, as officers, we don't have, because I called gun. If you ever see a gun in a situation like that, before I sent the dog, I was like, gun, let everyone else in the room know, sent the dog up. The next officer, he was standing at the doorway, so he couldn't hear me from his body cam. So, well, you never called gun. I was like, I did, but it was on my body camera, which everyone saw but you guys. Yeah, dude, it was a whole fucking mess.
I feel like in the first place, I mean, I get that you guys have to be careful, but 9 warnings?
9,
like,
dude.
That seems like excessive.
Yeah. And they're like, why didn't you go hands-on with the guy first? I'm not going hands-on with a dude with a gun.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, but I'm not fucking
Somebody's
stupid.
going to die.
They're like, well, he was passive. I'm like, all right. I got a guy who just shot somebody, right? Now they're standing in the middle of the street. And a gun, they're just pointing it, holding it by the side, not pointing at anyone. That's passive, right? You can go hands-on with that dude? I'm not.
Hell no.
And I'm damn sure not going to tell somebody else
No.
to go fucking hands-on with them.
No, you want to go home to your family.
At that point, I'm the leader of the situation. All these dudes are under me, and I'm going to make sure everyone goes home that night, in which everybody did.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, man.
That's nuts that you got suspended for some really dumb
Yeah,
shit
dude.
like that.
And so it was at that point, like, on the force, you know, one night a good buddy of mine got killed. So he
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, so you know, he got shot and killed in front of me. And I lost my dad when I was 25. So it's almost a blessing and a curse at the same time. But you know, like, you always hear people talk about, like, live life like it could be taken any minute from you, like there is no tomorrow. And I get that, man. Like, people say it a lot, but when it actually happens in front of you, dude, it puts a whole nother perspective on your life. Because in roll call the night my buddy was killed, he just bought a camper, a fifth wheel. He was going camping with his kids. He had 3 kids about ages, I think at that time, like 3, 5, and 6 or 7. 3 young kids. Just bought a camper, sitting in roll call. He's super excited about it. We went out. We were doing, beating the bushes, doing a little sting, getting some drugs off people. He was like, hey, he either got some crack or some weed. He was like, hey, I'm going to go eat with my wife. I'm going to go vouch for these drugs. We'll get back out and get after it. Cool. Took the drugs, went, ate with his wife. That time, a dude was going around the city, shooting random, just driving down the street, shooting a gun out the window. He had actually driven by another car, shot an innocent kid, just left a high school graduation party. Nobody had found this kid yet, but he shot a kid, killed him. He's in the median, hit a tree. Anyways, Brian had just finished eating with his family. He's back at the station. The dude, they run the plates on the tag. The plates are right across the street. Brian goes across the street, gets out of his car. The dude's waiting for him in his front door with an AR. Smokes Brian straight through his vest. They were armor-piercing rounds. We're one of the first ones to get there. So I'm standing over Brian. My partner's ripping his vest off, giving him chest compressions, but he ended up dying right there. So it's like being in roll call 3 hours earlier, and then now he's laying dead in the fucking street. It's like, dude, like that. He was supposed to camp in that weekend.
Dude.
So between the dog bite, all the death that I'd seen over the 10 years, it's like, dude, there really is no tomorrow. I don't love what I do anymore. So it was like, what do I love doing, man? I was like, I love fitness and I love dogs. It's like, how can I combine that? So just started dating a girl, hollered at her. I was like, look, I'm starting a clothing company. You want to be a part of it or not? She was like, yeah, sure. So I was like, look, you design the women's stuff, we'll design the men's stuff. And we also, the way the dogs got incorporated, we had a K-9 shot and killed in 2016.
Okay.
So our dogs didn't have any bulletproof vests. It was another crazy individual, long standoff. Guy comes out, send a dog on him. He shoots, kills our dog. Buddy of mine shot that dude. We sent another dog. Guy ended up dying. But a guy from SEAL teams, retired guy, he had 3 dogs killed during his career. He started asking questions like, why do your dogs not have vests? Our department's too cheap. They're $2,500 a pop. They'll invest $20,000 in a dog. But
I didn't even know they made bulletproof vests for dogs.
Yeah, man. So, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
So he, this guy, amazing guy, Jimmy Hatch, SEAL Team 6 guy, he starts asking questions. Why do your dogs not have vests? Because they took the vet report from our dog that got killed and said, had he been wearing a vest where he got shot, he possibly would have lived. So there was a smaller incident where one of our dogs needed surgery and the department would pay for it. So Jimmy started Spike's Canine Fund, named after one of his dogs. Sold t-shirts, raised money, got the money to do the surgery. So when our dog got killed, he was like, all right, this is out of control. So he started the Krieger campaign. Now, Spike started in 2016. They've outfitted over 1,100 dogs nationwide, all free. And my dog was one of the first ones to get a vest from Jimmy.
That's dope.
So my dog had his vest the entire career. So I was like, that's what we're going to give back to. So a portion of every sale from us goes back to outfitting dogs with
Wild
these
South?
vests. Yeah, man.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's
so,
really cool.
you know, we're still in the community. I love the guys. I love working a dog. I miss it every day. But the politics and the bullshit, it's just not worth it. And I'm so much more happier now. I'm a little more stressed, you know, running your own thing. But life is just so much better.
The reward is way better,
Oh,
too,
dude,
right?
it's unreal.
Something that you said that really resonates with me, too, is, like, you said that when you see death, that you really start, like, it puts into perspective that there really is no tomorrow. Something that I say often to, like, all of, like, because I train a lot of high school kids and stuff like that. I tell them, I'm like, everybody knows that they're gonna die someday, right? But like we all have trouble putting it into perspective that we're gonna die. You know, because we live this life, we're living for today, we do degenerate shit or whatever, so we have instant gratification, so it makes it seem like this is just gonna go forever. Then one day you turn 30 years old. And you're like, I was just 18 yesterday. And then one day you're gonna turn 50. You're gonna be like, I was 30 years old. And so when I was able to put that into perspective, I've seen, not the same way you have, but like a lot of people have passed away in my life too. And one of the last ones, I was just like, dude, this is not forever. Like, people really die. And it can be whenever. And so I've tried to live my life that way too. And not just because of seeing people die, but I had like an existential crisis too one day where I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking die someday. I better start like hustling and doing exactly what I want, because you get one shot here. I'm a Christian guy, so I don't believe that you get reincarnated, you know? So I'm like, you get one shot and that's it. And I want to maximize it every day, and however I can.
And like, I see so many people, especially cops, man, they work for such a shitty retirement and they're all miserable as fuck. And it's like, why y'all sitting here? And so many of them that I work with are like, oh, you know, I'm too old to start over. It's like, dude, I didn't start this company until I was 35 years old. Like, I put all my, I'm 37. 37. So I'll be 38 this year. So it's like, dude, like, I put all my eggs in one basket, but I'm like, dude, I'm still young. Like, I've got so much time, and I didn't have a business degree. I had a criminal justice degree. I didn't know the first fucking thing. Podcasts, YouTube, and a lot of failures, you know, it's just gotten us to where we are today. We've blown a few $1,000s on some dumb shit that I now know. But it's like, without taking that jump or taking that risk. And some people, like, dude, they're super happy making 50 grand a year, which is totally fine. I just wasn't. And it's like, dude, like, I want to go. Like, had I never done it, it would have just killed me. And I actually got a Fed job. So the day that I quit that month, I got hired by NCIS. I didn't want it, but I threw my hat in there one time. So now I was like, fuck. I just quit to run the company. My Fed dream job is there, not with who I wanted, but it's there. So I was like, nah, I'm going to turn it down. And this was a cushy 6-figure salary. Dude, in 5 years, I would have been making about $130,000, $140,000. And I was like, no, dude, because Wild South was flourishing. And I was like, dude, if I quit now, I'm never going to know, and I'm going to beat myself, man.
Yeah, dude, because to be honest, if you have the degree, you can always go back too, right?
100%.
And there's always, regardless of if you have a degree or not, there's always jobs.
Yes, dude, there's always stuff. I mean, dude, dog training, the amount of people coming up, hey, will you train my dog? It's like, I'm kind of burnt out at the time, but that's something I'd love to get back into down the road, is training dogs. Yeah,
100%, dude. The failure thing too, right? Like, you have to go through the failures, and you're never too old to like start living your dream or to start, you know, chasing your passion. I mean, I was a trainer at another gym. I was on my way to make my first ever 6-figure year. I was gonna just do like, I think 107, 105, somewhere around there. And then the opportunity to open a gym came. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna open gym. Now I'm closing my gym to chase the podcast. First time I ever announced that, but your show won't go up for a little bit. But so yeah, it's just, not that the gym failed or anything, but it's like, sometimes you gotta try things to see if it's really where you want to put your eggs, right?
And then pivot. Like if you don't like it, just make a move to it, you know?
Exactly. My thing has always been content. That's all that I've ever wanted to do. And so now I'm like, okay, this is working out pretty good. I'm gonna take the full leap. I went from 6 figures to like, literally, I cut my income more than in half so I could start the gym. And now I'm doing it again, you know, just to do the podcast.
It's scary.
But it's scary, but I don't fucking care. It's like, either way, money's always going to be there. I'm always going to figure out how to make money. Know how to make money. It's the easy part. It's like, how do you make money doing something that's going to fulfill you long term? Because I don't know if you're the same way. For men, I believe that you need to be on a purpose, right? Like, you got to be chasing purpose. If you're not, then everything sucks. That's when you get depressed. That's when all these like fucking bullshit things come up. And then, for me at least, if I'm stressed, everyone is stressed around me, because I'm a fucking hard dude to be around when I'm not happy.
Dude, ask my wife about that. I mean, she, thankfully, she's she's my little sugar mama right now because she's still a nurse full time, so she's
awesome.
kind of supporting, paying the mortgage, paying the bills, but she believes in this, and she's been a phenomenal support and help with us.
You have a great operation going on.
Yeah, so I mean, without her, because when she's not at the hospital, she's helping me, and we're going to events, but having that support, it helps out a little bit.
Yeah.
Not having to work, because I still can't pay myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back to the stress thing, dude, it's like, if you're gonna have someone with you, it's gonna be some tough times.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, same thing with my girlfriend. She's a PA in a hospital.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, she's been there fully to support, but it's really hard too. We'll get in the weeds of this a little bit. It's hard to find a woman that's actually like about it like that. I have dated other girls where they're like, I want a successful man, blah, blah, but they don't want a fucking busy man.
Yes.
Right? It's like, so it's hard to find a girl who's actually like on board for sure. That's like, okay, you can't give me all your time. You can't text me all the time.
Yeah.
You can't even like be home all the time. She takes care, we both have kids from other parents. She takes care of my kid and her kid until 7:30, 8 o'clock most nights because I'm fucking working.
Yep.
Yeah, so did you wait, so she's the girlfriend that you were talking about earlier, right?
So she's my wife now. When we had first met, so I mean, that was even crazier. It's like, hey, we just met.
Yeah.
I'm starting a company. Do you want to jump in feet first? And she was like, yeah. So
how did she prove it to you that she was in for it?
Just all the hours that we did, pretty much building it, setting it up, and then every weekend, I mean, we were just bootstrapping it, going to all these events up and down the East Coast. Yeah. So it's like, hey, we got this event in Myrtle Beach. Cool, let's go. So it was never, we got stuff to do, or no, I really don't want to go, because we've been traveling for about 3 years now, almost every weekend.
Yeah.
So there was never any complaints or anything about it.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have a background in like graphic design?
No.
So you just learned this all on the fly?
Everything was just on the fly. I'm telling you, that's why I don't really believe in college degrees anymore. Like, back in the day, sure. But, like, if you're going to be, like, a doctor, a lawyer, a neurosurgeon, or
the STEM
scientist, yes, you need degrees. Mm-hmm. But, dude, for business, it is the biggest waste of money, in my opinion, dude. There's so much free information out there.
YouTube.
Hey, dude, YouTube, podcasts, that's where you learn.
Yeah.
Like, people hit me up, and they'll be like, hey, I want to start a business. What would you do in this situation? And I'll tell them, be like, well, this is what I wouldn't do, because I fucked this up.
Yeah.
So, but that's all part. I like fucking it up more.
Yeah.
Because then I know how not to do that
you
again.
Learn from it.
Whereas if someone gives me a little blueprint, they're like, hey, do it this way, that's cool, but that first time you come to a big robot, it's like, shit, how do I unfuck this?
Right, there's no problem solving there, yeah. Do you have any mentors that you call or talk to?
No, I have none. It's literally just been trial and error on everything.
Yeah, that's good. Fortunately enough, I have a few mentors that I like to talk to, and I'm like, hey, what would you do in this situation? How do I, And then John, our accountant over there, he helps out a lot too with the business side of shit. How do you handle money? What can you buy?
Say we just got him on board too.
You
so,
did?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, I swear to you, he's the best. He's the best.
He's the people of the CrossFitters.
Dude, yes. He like just I was super pumped. He approved us to buy a camera and a laptop last week.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. So yeah, dude. Anyway, how did you go about building Wild South in the beginning to make it the brand that it is today?
The crazy thing is, like, I didn't even really set any goals. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, look, we didn't really set any goals. It was just pretty much don't fail. Because we're all so new to this. It's like, let's just try to not fail and then see where it goes.
How big is your team?
Just me and my wife. That is
nice.
it. We don't have a single. We got
so these guys are just ambassadors that come with you?
No, these dudes are just friends that are just hustling, helping us out. They typically
go.
We got like a core group of people. They'll go to the games with us. They'll go to Wadapalooza with us, like the real big events. I mean, dude, it's just such a blast, and especially when you're next to good people. It's just a fun week.
Dope.
Yeah. So I mean, it was like the Wilds. For all the Wild stuff, I did my career in the South. I'm from Georgia originally. And then the logo, the dog, and then just the Southern Pines when the dog's back. That's how the whole name came to be.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I really fuck with the logo. It's cool.
Yeah.
So what did you do? You just you started the clothing brand. You decided I have to go to different events.
Yeah, so I knew we didn't have any money for marketing. Like we didn't have any capital to go and advertise on Facebook or Instagram. So I was like, how do we do this? I was like, CrossFit. I was like, let's just start going to these events.
Were you into CrossFit? That was your fitness choice?
I had dabbled in it, but never was real big into it.
Yeah.
And coming to these events, like I don't really know about the community or anything. Like, dude, the community is so tight knit. Like it seems like such a big space to the outside, but once you're in it, it's very small.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we just started going to CrossFit events, and then one led to another and to another. And now people are calling us up, hey, we come to our event, we do this, and it's just grown into what it is just through all that.
Hell yeah, dude, that's dope. I often say too that so you said it the opposite way of how I would say it, that you thought that CrossFit was a big community.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody on another podcast, and I was like, I feel like CrossFitters are the only people.
Oh, no. It seems like really big to like the outsiders. Once you're in it, it's very small.
No. Yeah, so I think the opposite. We're like, so like people in it think that it's this big thing. But like if you go outside of CrossFit and talk to anyone, they're like, isn't that thing where they do the weird pull-ups? Like no one knows anything
I'll
about
agree
it.
with you on that.
Yeah.
Like people think in the space like there's no one outside that like it's so big.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like people from the outside looking in, they're like, it's just CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, leave CrossFit. Nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
Like, and all like nobody does. Like,
Yes.
you go to,
Yes.
I could go to my best friend from home right now and be like, hey, do you know who Danny Spiegel, Pat Bellin, or Danielle Brandon is? They're going to be like, who? Never heard of them.
Who the
Never
fuck
heard
is
of
that?
them. Yes, and they're
Yeah.
not going to know.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why we're trying not to pigeonhole ourselves too much.
Yeah.
You know, CrossFit's been phenomenal getting into the space. It's really helped us honed in on our athletic wear and stuff.
Yeah.
But now, you know, I always wanted to go back into the outdoors wear, and you know there's like a specific K-9 pant that I want to make,
Yeah.
you know, for the guys out there working. So getting into the hiking stuff, that's something we want to go into.
Yeah.
You know, because there is so much outside of CrossFit.
So is that kind of the mission, to grow and expand outside of this? Like,
Oh yeah, I mean like we'll still be developing more athletic stuff, but I mean for like men's shorts, there's only so many different styles you can come out
Yeah,
with.
sure.
You know, you keep coming out with colorways and patterns and stuff like that. It's mainly the women. They're getting the new sports bras and the new leggings and the
Yeah.
new shorts and the tops and whatever.
Yeah.
So that stuff will keep coming.
That's
But yeah,
cool.
I mean, we definitely want to get into like the more like athleisure type style of clothes.
Yeah.
You know, just keep seeing where it goes.
Do you guys pull any like inspiration from other brands, Alpha Elite, Gymshark, anything like that?
Not really, because at the end of the day, like we're all pretty much selling the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it,
Probably have the same
we're all-
manufacturers.
I'm sure
and all
there's
that.
some, like they won't tell you really who's working with who, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're selling the same stuff. You're selling a culture and you're selling a brand.
Yeah.
And it's like who can you resonate with and who can you get to buy into y'all's mission?
Yeah.
You know, so like we're not all about the dogs. Like our mission statement is take what's yours.
It's what?
Take what's yours.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about and our number one selling shirt, which you have, is the nobody owes you shit.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite shirts that I own.
So when we started the company, it started off as a sticker, and
Yeah.
my mom was like, typical mom, don't make that, it's gonna hurt people's feelings. I'm like, Mom, you're looking at it all wrong.
Yeah.
Fuck the feelings. Like if it hurts their feelings, like we don't want to buy them stuff anyways. But it's just about stop looking for the handouts,
Yeah.
man. And there's so many people now just waiting for opportunities to land in their lap. So the whole take what's yours, like, dude, go out there, create the opportunities,
Yeah.
and take them. You don't know when they're going to present themselves, but when they do, you want to make sure that you're ready for it.
Yeah.
Because you might only get that one shot.
Right.
Like we've had companies reach out to us, be like, hey, can you do this for us? I'm like, fuck, unfortunately I can't. Go to this company. But I know now we're starting to work on those things these companies are asking us for, do certain collapses, because like I don't want to miss that opportunity again.
Yeah.
So create those opportunities and just make sure that when it does present itself, dude, take it.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if it's like a generational thing, but there's definitely all those people that like they have a lot of lip service. They talk about what they wish they could do,
Yeah.
what they want to do, and they're like, yeah, someday this. I'm like, no, not someday ever. It's like you have to make it happen. I'm like, yeah, some people. Actually, Heather and I just talked about this like on a car ride where we're like, I was telling her, there's so many people that just like expect this shit to happen, but like don't realize that yeah, some people get really lucky
Yes.
somehow by the grace of God. But then it's like most people, luck will come when. Actually, Gabe said this. He says it's funny how the harder you work, the luckier you become.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people just don't want to do it. That's where
No.
I think, you know, people. There's a difference between like really wanting something and would like to have
Yes.
something, right?
Yes.
And wanting something is actually having the wherewithal to like go out and reach for
Yeah.
it. And the would like is just like, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually gonna go do anything.
I mean, it's just
put effort.
like the motivation, that's what gets you started.
Yeah.
But, you know,
That's fleeting.
people talk about all the time, but like the drive and the passion and the why, that's what keeps it going
Yeah.
when shit gets miserable. And I feel like social media is kind of tainted society now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a fucking influencer. Everybody. And
Yeah.
you look at the big people, like there's one person specifically that I think when it comes to this, he wants to have this big clothing brand, but he's more worried about pushing content than he is about working on the clothing brand. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, look at Andy Frisella. He didn't say shit till he's a multi-million-dollar brand.
Yeah.
You know,
$100 million
yeah,
brand,
yeah,
yeah.
dude. Rob Bailey didn't say shit. Now he's, huge entrepreneurs. David Goggins. None of these dudes said anything until they were actually something.
Yeah.
And now they're starting with the podcast. They're starting with, you know, kind of giving away some of their blueprints. But nobody that actually did anything is sitting there on Instagram and be like, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And it's like, dude, they actually built the shit and now they can attest to it because they're experts in their field. That's what you do. Like, I rarely talk about shit behind the scenes because, like, I'm not an expert.
Right.
You know? Down the road, sure, I would love to mentor and help other people.
Yeah, they work on the brand. They work on, like, the actual, like, innards of the thing instead of just, like, trying to put – there's a lot of people, too, right? They think that is working on the brand, and that's, like, for me, working on the brand is like working on yourself. So if you're going to promote hustle culture, you better fucking be able to hustle yourself.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that will put that front up on Instagram,
right?
And then you look at their life and it's a fucking train wreck.
Yes.
It's a mess.
And like content is king. Like, yes, you do need to be pushing on social media. You do need to be influencing people for all this. But get someone to do that for you.
Yeah.
Have someone create that content because you need to be worried about shit behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Because you see all the stuff people are pushing for some brands, you're like, it looks great, but there's nothing there.
Right. Yeah.
So
I agree, man. I agree. Well, hey, is there anything that you want people to know about Wild South?
Not, man. I mean, I think we covered it. It's pretty much just go out there, you know, get what you want. Like, if it's anything, you're not too old to do anything. You know, I'm not old by any means. I feel a little old, but it's like, dude, just like start. Yeah. Just start. Stop thinking about it and go out there. Formulate a plan. Don't worry about the logo. Don't worry about the name. Because I guarantee you're going to hone in on a name, be like, this is a fucking sweet name, and that website's taken. Or that Instagram handle's taken. Just build the backside. Worry about the name of the logo later. Just fucking send it.
I love that. Yeah, stars don't need to be aligned. Yeah. You don't need to have the perfect outline for everything. Just do it.
No, yeah. Well, I was like, when are we going to launch? And I was like, I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. January 1st. New year, new brand, send it. We weren't ready, but I set the date, sent it, and, you know, you learn as you go. Hell yeah, dude. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on the show, telling your story. Thanks for having us a little bit of Wild South. Yeah. And like, subscribe. Buy some shit from Wild South. Maybe he'll put a code and I can put it in the description. Yeah, man. For a little discount. For sure. And then, like this reel, like everything. And nobody owes you shit. You heard it here first. Hell yeah, brother. Thank you. Yeah, man.